Hello and welcome to IMAGE The Motherload, the podcast for mums who work inside and outside the home. I am your host, Dominique McMullen. I'm Image Media's editorial director and mum of 2 young boys. Each week I'm joined by a guest to talk about the realities of modern motherhood and to hopefully leave you feeling a little more seen and a little less alone. You can think of us as your new village because we're here even the smallest bit to lighten the load. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. IMAGE The Motherload is powered by Peugeot and sponsored by Revive Active, It's For Women, Evoca and Liffey Valley. Today I am joined by Emma Flynn. Emma is an artist and a former midwife whose art really centres around the theme of motherhood. She's also a mum of 3. I've been following Emma on social media for years and her art has deeply resonated with me at some of my darkest and most difficult moments of motherhood. I am so excited to have her here with us here today. I do want to give a trigger warning though before this episode. We touch on postnatal depression, intrusive thoughts and OCD, and this episode really does delve into those topics. So if that is not for you today or if you're feeling a little bit sensitive, it might be an idea to skip this one. Okay, let's get on with the chat. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great, I have to say. Great form. Delighted to be here. Delighted to be with humans, adults, in the big smoke. Delighted. Yeah.
Because you've come up from a long way. You've come up from West Cork.
Yeah, it did not take much to twist my arm. It's always gorgeous. Obviously, my family and friends are all here. We love where we live down there. It is fabulous to be away from everything, by the sea, so immersed in nature. But then it's actually really exciting when you get to come up to the city and be around like different restaurants and shops, and it sort of fills you up in a different way than when you lived here and could sort of access it all the time, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, so I
I
was
loved
delighted.
West Cork though. Anytime I've been there, it's the most beautiful place.
It's fab.
Yeah,
it's
nice
fab.
place to live.
Yeah, with no regrets.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So those of our listeners who might not know, can you paint a picture who you are now as an artist and as a mum as well?
So I have 3 kiddos, 7, 5 and 3, nearly 4.
Yeah.
And I am definitely at that like head above the trench kind of stage. But I suppose I became sort of known in the Irish Instagram space when I was very much in the trenches and was using Instagram to share my art, which was about drawing little scenes and moments of motherhood. My poetry, which was about expressing hard moments and good moments that I felt, but really kind of showing it all as it was unfolding. So often people will talk about hard moments after they've passed in a reflective sort of sense, where I really got a lot of comfort and sense of nearly like taking a bit of power back in shining a light on how hard it was when it was still hard. So that's kind of how I came to sort of be known on Instagram, and I've been very open about the things I've struggled with, the things that have gone well for me, really the highs and the lows. It has all been out there, and as a result a lot of people have been very receptive to my story and shared their own with me, and I've created a really, really, really safe, beautiful community of women. And it's a word that's sort of overused, I think, a lot in the online space.
100%.
But community in the sense of I show up for them, they show up for me.
Yeah.
It's a really safe space where we are really honest, trustworthy, non-judgmental of each other. And though I share art and poetry and all those things, it's really about the woman-to-woman connection more than anything.
Yeah.
And my background before I had babies and moved into this space was in midwifery, which I adored, but it's the same kind of thing. It's connecting with women at big moments of their lives, helping them feel seen, feel cared for and safe. And I feel, although it is so different and not anyway as important as helping babies come into the world.
I don't know about that. It's different.
It's different, but I feel as I've moved out of midwifery for the next couple of years still, I feel a lot of job satisfaction from still getting that woman-to-woman connection. I value that so much above all else.
And do you know what is so interesting when I hear you talk is that the bit that you've said there, I mean, there's lots of interesting things in what you've just said, but the first bit about sharing when you're in the dark moment rather than when you're on the outside of it, like people so often do on Instagram, and wrapping it in a nice little bow. This is a thing that happened to me and now it's over and I can tell you all the things I've learned and my wisdom of the, you know, of what happened. Whereas actually like life's not like that. And we're always in something. Something's always happening. And I definitely found when looking at your Instagram on multiple occasions that I'd never felt so seen.
Yeah.
You know, things that you said and drawings that you made, I remember looking at them and thinking, like, oh, thank God it's not just me, you know?
I know.
And you could see that in the comments underneath of all these women talking to each other.
Someone described it to me once as like a meeting place for mothers.
Yeah.
And that was so moving to me.
Yeah.
And the greatest honour of any, you know, I've been lucky to be nominated for awards before that I've chosen not to participate in. It doesn't quite feel like my space or that time or whatever. But to me, the biggest like award I felt from it was when public health nurses were telling mothers about my page. You know, and I just thought, oh my God, is that not the highest compliment? They are meeting women at their most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they're saying, do you know who you could actually follow and could be a good
Yeah.
source for you? And I just thought that was the biggest accolade you could possibly ask for.
Because it's so real what you talk about and the way you talk about it, and the way you're not providing answers. You're not saying,
Yes.
do this, do that. You're just saying, this is how I
Yeah.
feel right now, or this is
Yeah.
how, you know, low I am, or how high I am, or how beautiful it is, because that is what motherhood is.
Yeah.
It's so full of the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, or we talk about it retrospectively.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember meeting a woman, I had made this sort of conscious decision that I was going to be honest, that when people asked me, I'd had a really incredibly tough few months when I first became a mother.
Yeah.
And as I started to come out of that, I thought, this is bullshit. Like, I am not playing this game anymore. And I remember meeting a girl I used to work with in Dewberry Books in Blackrock, I think it was at the time. And she was like, oh my God, Emma, you have the pram. How is it? And I went, really hard, actually. And she sort of was, I mean, this gal was a great gal. She had kids of her own, but she was very confronted by that. And I just, it was like a defiance in me. It was nothing to do with her. I didn't feel the silence. I was just like, really hard. Like, really fucking hard.
I love it.
I just took that with me wherever I went, of being like, I'm equally going to tell you, I weep looking at those children sometimes. I am winded to the point where I can't breathe at every miracle eyelash on their eye, every dimple in their chubby cheeks. It is as marvellous and magical as it is gritty and hard. And the notion that it is not that is such a disservice to mothers everywhere. And that's what I just want to keep banging the drum of. And as I move forward and my Instagram changes a bit because the algorithm changes and you can't really just put up a picture anymore. It's like talking to an empty room. You have to do the dance and do the reel or whatever. And I keep it up even though that wouldn't be my choice to do those kind of reel. I would love if I could still just put up a picture and chat to people. But because it's still the in the door now.
Yeah.
To do the little bit of messing and do the reels and have the chats and then hold the space for the real conversation and the real important moments. And I really, really, really value that in my life. And it's an extra blessing that it has been helpful over the years to others.
Talk to me about your experience of midwifery, because there is something about midwives.
Yeah.
Every time I've had a baby, I leave the hospital saying to my husband, and he laughs, I think I'm going to be a midwife.
Yeah.
Because it's the most incredible career. Women who just, you create this bond like immediately with them, and they're suddenly like your deepest best friend, mother / like everything to you for like 4 days, and then you never see them again. It's wild.
I know.
Really.
It is. I always knew, so when I was a really small child, I wanted to be two things. Either an animator for Disney, dream big girl, or a doctor who delivered babies. So I didn't know what a midwife was. So I didn't like know what that was till I got older. I thought you had to be a doctor or a nurse, but there is in Ireland now for about 15 years or so, maybe coming up on 20, direct entry midwifery. So you can just train for 4.5 years just solely on midwifery. And that's where I knew I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So I worked in the Coombe Hospital. I trained there and I worked there and I loved it.
Did you?
Absolutely loved it. Now, it goes without saying, that midwives, nurses, everyone, they are so poorly treated in the services. And that's what is making us lose fabulous people to a really valuable profession. I had to step away from it, from health reasons and all that kind of thing, because the services underneath you to hold those special people doing the special jobs, they're not there. You're just falling out of the bottom of them all the time. Like, you're burnt out. You can't get time off for your child's communion, for your child's care. Like, it's wild. And it is wild because that's just the lay of the land, and everybody working on the floor is trying their best. But in terms of the actual work, I adored it. It was a huge part of my identity for the years that I was working there and training there. I felt such a sense of pride all the time when somebody would say, what would you do? And I would say, I'm a midwife. I just thought that carried a huge amount of prestige, not in terms of being a consultant doctor or the lead CEO of anything, but people who knew what a valuable role that was
into the world. It is
huge. I although I loved it and appreciated it, I really look forward to the day that I go back now that I've had my babies, because I will go back. Yeah, I will go back. But I think I will probably wait till my youngest is in school.
Okay.
I definitely feel there is nothing in the world that has satisfied me like a day on the labour ward.
Wow.
Or helping that woman overnight who cannot crack the feeding, and it's really important to her that she breastfeeds, and you just stick with her all night, and you look at them and they're both sleeping and the baby has the full belly, and you've realised, like, okay, we did something tonight. But now I also, like, I just always thought, like, and then they leave the door and they go happily ever after. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, there's so much we need to, like, reframe and work on with women in pregnancy and just after birth to really set them up well.
Yeah.
As we send them off, because we do just sort of shoo them out the door, get our box of roses, and then go on to the next one. And it's like, it's not holistic enough at all. But that's probably a conversation for a whole other day about the things that need to be changed there. But I loved it.
There's a lot that needs to be changed there.
There's a lot that needs to be changed there.
In terms of matrescence and looking after women postpartum. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will never forget a moment when I was having my first where I was... Apologies if this is TMI for anyone listening, but I was lying on the bed getting my spinal injection. What's that called?
Epidural.
Jeez, sorry. Lying on the bed getting an epidural, and there was a midwife underneath me.
Yes.
And I was crying, and like my tears were all going into her face. Yeah. And she was like,
yeah. It's fine. No, I can't feel anything. Yeah.
And she was holding onto my shoulders and just looking like directly into my face as the tears fell, and just looked me in the eyes, and she was like, you can do this. Yeah. And I will never forget the look on her face, the way she said it, and it just shifted my whole insight. I was like, I can do this. Yeah. And that woman, I still think about her all the time.
I remember one woman came in progressing. Now, I was at hundreds and hundreds of births, but I remember distinctly, it was a really, really, really stressful day. This woman came in and she was panicked. She was actively in labour. She was progressing quickly. Her partner hadn't arrived yet, and she was afraid. And she couldn't control her breathing, control her pain. She was really,
like
which is totally normal reaction. And I remember getting down, whatever I was, just the way it was, I was between two rooms. I had two women in labour. I was going to this woman, this woman, this woman, this woman, this woman. And there was a student with her who was trying to comfort her. And I remember getting down on my knees in front of the bed, holding her hand and being like, do exactly what I say. Like looking at her eye to eye and being like, you're going to breathe in, you're going to hold it, you're going to hold it. I said, hold it. I said, hold it. I said, hold it. I said, hold it. And breathe out. And we just did that 4 or 5 times. And I watched the stress just come right down in her body, because she learned in those 5 contractions, okay, here's the tool. It's not the answer. This is still holy hell, do you know? But I actually have some sense of control, and somebody who's looking at me in the eye go, we're going to figure this out. Yeah. And I think just that feeling of safety is so underestimated in maternity services. Yeah. Like, I see you, I know what you need, and I'm going to help you. Like, imagine if you just heard that at every appointment, or when you go, like I did a thing on Instagram recently about like how to tackle raising your mental health concerns with either your family or or your doctor, because I think one of the biggest disservices we do to mothers is reassure them, and you think that's a really good thing, but I think reassurance is really dangerous to women.
I agree.
And when I was really unwell after having my first baby, I remember getting so much reassurance, like, this is normal, and I was like, this is not normal. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay. And I just talked through in a couple of little videos of little tactics that I know we're Irish, and like the doctors, the hierarchy and whatever, that like these are just a couple of things to have in your arsenal to navigate that conversation if you feel like you're really not being heard.
Yeah.
Because there's fabulous healthcare professionals out there. And there's also loads that really, as we know, diminish the impact of all of these monumental changes in women's lives.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we need to be a little bit prepared for that.
Yeah. If I ever have a baby, can you please come with me?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem, gal.
Another one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that reassurance. It's that reassurance that you're okay and you've got this, and then believing women and trusting them. You know,
Yes.
believing their words and listening to what they're really saying and
Yes.
hearing them.
Yeah.
Which sounds so simple.
You know, there is, and it also comes, look, it comes all the way down from, it's a patriarchal system, and the doctors that wanted better views, so that's how women were put on their back. It's like it all goes way, way back. But there is a culture of mistrust of women in the society as a whole. So we're naive to think that wouldn't be in maternity services as well. And then you have staff that are overstretched, underpaid, exhausted. They have a boss that's irritable because of their stress, so they're being irritable at them. And then Mary's telling them something that they don't think fully makes sense. And you're not always going to get the exact best reaction you want, that you deserve. Like, I remember looking after one patient who had really bad hyperemesis, which I had on one of my pregnancies as well, which is that chronic, persistent vomiting in pregnancy. And hearing somebody say, well, I haven't seen her get sick. And I was thinking, this gal has ketones up to her eyeballs. She's like a ghost. Like, but it just spoke, like, that person wasn't an isolated one human that wasn't doing things right. It was a culture that persists of a mistrust of women. So sometimes you need to go in and be ready to be the awkward gal, the one that's really able to hold your head back and speak up for your needs. And bringing an advocate, like, it's not COVID anymore. I always recommend to bring someone with you, and you have them primed. If I start to agree to this thing because I feel pressured, I want you to speak up for me. And it's really a really, really powerful tool. And you'd be surprised how differently people can speak to you at times when there is another person present.
Yeah.
So hopefully people don't need it.
Bring a man. I know that's
It does
awful.
work.
But
Although I do find they're very submissive in maternity settings.
Yeah, because it's a real female
Yeah,
centric.
I do find they're very, like,
Yeah.
I actually think as an older sister, an older friend, a friend who hasn't had kids is sometimes great. Can you tell me why we're doing that? You know, where I do find often the husbands and the partners can be a little
scared.
A little bit, I mean, I don't know what you know, so.
Yeah.
And I that's another thing I always encourage people to do, is not always go to the person that you think is going to be the obvious one to root for you. Like, when I was really unwell after having Jack, I had this public health nurse who used to come check on me every week. She was not the gal. Like, I realised quite early on that I needed to not tell her so much. Wow. She was a little judgy. She was a little cold. She would pass remarks on other patients. But then I had another girl who was like more like a therapist that I went to see in a maternity setting. I could tell that girl everything in the world. So that it's okay to go, I know this person has the title, but they might not be the person for me. Maybe the receptionist at the GP is really warm and friendly and I'm going to get a number off her. Or maybe it's not my mother. Maybe it's actually my friend who doesn't have kids, but she's able to be really level-headed in this situation and help me.
Really
and just
advice.
being open to finding somebody that feels like a click will be really important in getting yourself better.
So talk to me about, you've touched on it a few times there, but about, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And with your first, you had a really dark time.
Really dark, dangerous time. And do you know what? I would often think, you know, did I prepare myself enough? Did I do enough? And even as I reflect on it years and years later, I'm like, no, I really did the best I could to manage a really difficult, hard situation.
I mean, if anybody, as a midwife, if anybody has the tools and the experience and would have done enough, I would imagine it would have been you.
Except what occurred to me, which I'll tell you about now, I had never heard of before. I had never, ever heard of this. I knew, so I'd had eating disorders since my teen years. I'd struggled with mental illness since a small kid. Periods of being really good and fine and periods of being really unwell. So I went to therapists antenatally. I gave the pep talks that I would have given to other parents of like, these are the things to look out for. These are the signs and symptoms of postnatal depression. You know, you're being withdrawn. Maybe you're holding your baby all the time. Maybe you won't let someone else hold them. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe whatever. That is not what came up for me at all.
Okay.
I literally felt like, so the description I gave to people to help explain it is, we all have a negative thought. So often you'd be holding your baby and you think, I'm going to drop the baby down the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's called an intrusive thought, which is basically like a heart attack to the brain. You know, it's just that literal, like, oh my God. Like, and I have always had little things like that. I'm going to throw my keys in the river. You know, like, but it's not something that takes over your whole mind and burns it down. So I would picture like a lighter. You light the flame. That's the intrusive thought. So you can go, okay, there's the intrusive thought. I see it. Blow it out.
Yeah.
I recognize it happened, but I'm moving on. I was postpartum. I was anxious. I was vulnerable. I had a lot of bereavement experience from midwifery that was definitely impacting me as well. And it was like the flame lit, the intrusive thought came, and it dropped to the ground, and it lit the curtains, and the curtains went up, and the walls went up, and the house burned down. And that's what happened for me.
Wow.
So I was in a little apartment in Blackrock where my husband had been living before we moved to our family home, and there was nobody there. The place emptied out at 8 o'clock in the morning, all commuters going to work. I was there on this second floor apartment every single day, trying my hardest not to throw that baby off the balcony. Like literally holding him, standing on the balcony with my brain saying, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. Just drown him, fill the bath, hold him under. Like literally having the... So it turned into an intrusive thought can turn into OCD. So obsessive compulsive disorder is not just the light switch thing that everybody thinks of. So it's having an obsessive thought, which is I'm going to kill my baby. And then it can go to compulsion, which I really, really, really want to kill my baby. But you don't want to kill your baby at all. So psychologically, it's like a mirror up to your darkest fears. So I was really, really anxious that something would happen to him. I dealt with a lot of bereavement, babies who'd passed away in pregnancy or just after birth through my work.
So you'd actually experienced that. You'd been present.
I'd been the midwife at many. It just worked that way. You'd go in onto the labour ward on any given day and you wouldn't know what patient you'd have. And I just had a few months of having lots of babies who came in. You'd put your hand on the mammy's tummy and you'd have to tell her there's no heartbeat. And then you'd meet those babies and they would have passed away and you'd be bathing them and dressing them. And it was really like an enormous honour, but it obviously really impacts you.
Yeah. Let's take a minute. Let's just ground ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to do the thing to you that the midwife did to me and hold your shoulders and say,
I've talked about it a million times, but it's just when you think of those babies, I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. You can stop whenever you want.
No, it's fine. Okay. So when you think about having a baby, you often think about all the amazing things. You think, oh my God, what are they going to look like? Oh my God, I'm going to put them in the new pram. Oh my God, you know, what name we call them? All I could think of was, I hope they cry. I hope they're alive. So even though I went to therapy before having them, I don't think I really understood how much holding so many babies who had passed away impacted me. Of course it did. When you think of it now, of course it did. So what happened when my first son was born is I started to think of all the ways that he could die.
Yeah.
I started to think about what if he has leukemia? What if he has this? I went through everything. What if this happens? What if he crashes in the way? And none of them happened. And it was like I ran out of options. And I thought, it's me. I'm what's going to happen. I'm what's going to kill him. I'm what's going to make him die. So that's where the kind of spiral came. And I really didn't know what to do with it or where to go with it, but I knew it was really, really, really serious. And the one thing I am really grateful for, I remember going to a therapist who has helped me many times over my life. She's a healer, I would say. She's incredible. And I was like, I'm not well, I need to come and see you. And I went and she was like, how old's the baby? And I was like, 3 weeks. She went, 3 weeks? She said, normally people are coming to me 3-6 months. I was like, I'm telling you, something is really, really, really wrong. I am not safe to be with that baby. Wow. The desperate urge to hold him underwater or throw him off a balcony or do something was so, so strong. And she listened to me. And she said to my husband, you have to take time off work. She's not to be alone with that baby. And that immediately made me feel like, okay, so he's probably not going to die. because I'm not going to be able to kill him. Like I used to get him the baby to sleep in another room and my husband to sleep across the door so that I couldn't wake up in the middle of the night and go and kill him. So how did I get out of it? Let's go to that. I think the thing that really helped me was being like, this is horrible. This is hell. And I'm really, really, really scared that I'm going to do this. And I think even though it is terrifying to say that out loud, like, is that not like the worst thing you could say as a parent? But actually, it's the best, most safe thing you could ever, ever, ever do is say, I'm thinking this. And it is a psychological known thing that just wasn't in the realm years ago, that wasn't spoken about at all. And actually, the amount of people that have contacted me since saying, oh my God, I felt like that. Oh my God, I'm in it. What should I do? Where should I go? That you actually have an opportunity to take those thoughts, which some mothers have acted on, and heal them and get better and be a great mother to your kids and move forward with it. You are not a bad person because you have bad thoughts. I always just say to people, just like your heart beats blood, you can't control that. Sometimes your brain isn't well and it will come up with different thoughts and things that shoot into your mind. They are not a sign of who you are. I remember once having him in the bath and like the urge to hold him under was so strong, but it was like a fear. It was like a flashing image of the whole thing. And I got out, wrapped him in a blanket, laid him on the floor. He was screaming, crying. He was wet, but he was wrapped in a blanket. And I took myself out of the apartment and I called my husband. I called my family. I called everybody. And I was like, I can't be with that baby. And I remember the doctor saying to me, you're judging yourself for your thought. Let's take a minute and look at your actions.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even leave the baby in the shallow bath that wouldn't have even drowned. You wrapped him in a blanket to make sure he was warm. You put him safe. You put a cushion on the floor. You made sure you were like, look at your actions. Stop judging yourself for your thoughts. We can make them better. In the meantime, the core of you is good. And that started a shift for me completely. That I was able to anchor into my actions and not live so cerebrally in a place that was really sick and unwell. I was able to go, okay, but the core of you is good, the heart of you is good, and begin to do the heavy, heavy lifting and the heavy work of how do I break through these thoughts? How do I learn to manage them? How can I make them less frequent? What do I do if they come up? How do I action being safe or not being safe? You know, like that's when the heavy work started at about 3 weeks postpartum. And I would say it was about 5 months when I started to realize that I had like space. I remember one day he smiled in the high chair and I just smiled back. And I was like, oh my God, I was able to just enjoy that smile. Like, you're just a baby and I'm just a mom. Like, and that was a really significant moment.
I mean, the thought of battling your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's such a, you use the word cerebral. It's something that you're not able to capture, that's just in there, that you can't see, that you can't hold on to, that you can't. It's such a difficult thing to be able to fight against.
Yes, it is.
To be able to make better.
Yes.
I can't imagine.
I remember saying to my mom, my brain is really sick and I'm trying to use my brain to fix my broken brain.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a broken arm and I'm trying to do surgery on that arm with said broken arm.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is really hard to use the thing that's broken to fix the broken thing.
Yes.
But there are ways. And people message me going, is it just that I'm going to learn to live with this? Or will I get better? And it's like, oh no, you'll definitely get better. Like, I just thought, if I can survive and not kill my child, I'll be winning. I would want to have 2 more kids. I am so happy. We have a fabulous life. I feel safe every day.
Did you experience it again with your second and third? Not at all?
No, not at all.
Isn't that
No, I got postnatal depression on my second girlie. Now, she was a COVID baby. It was a different time where I literally was like, I cannot get out of bed. I cannot brush my teeth. You cannot get me excited about anything. You could tell me there is €1 million at the front door. I'm not getting up. I don't care. I had that. Don't get me wrong. That is hard. Yeah. It is grim, but it is actionable in a way that I felt more manageable. I took medication. It worked amazingly for me. Right. I felt like the lights come back on within like 2 weeks.
Wow.
So that was an okay experience for me. I recognized it as something familiar. It didn't make me feel unsafe. Went to the doctor, took medication. upped my therapy was well up and on the road again. I definitely felt that was something I was familiar with from my work that I'd seen, whereas the intrusive thoughts and the OCD was I was in an ocean that I did not recognize at all. And so I'm grateful, even though it is obviously upsetting to talk about, I'm always grateful to be able to get it out there at all, because if I had known anybody, if I'd known even what to Google, I had no clue. It would have helped me so much to see women. All I knew was the women on the news who'd done it.
Do you think if you had seen other women who'd had that experience, it would have prevented you from slipping further into it as you did?
Definitely.
Yeah, interesting.
Definitely. Because I would have recognised it as like a postpartum condition or illness, or, you know, that there was women who had those thoughts and didn't do it. Like, I never knew anybody thought about it who didn't end up in prison because they'd killed their children. Do you know that you hear those stories? You don't hear the women who've felt it, thought it, been driven demented by it and worked hard and got better from it. You don't hear those stories at all.
No.
You know, and the women that you hear are, I get it, like vilified beyond belief, because of course it's unfathomable that a mother would kill her children. Of course that's unfathomable. It's not unfathomable to me.
No.
But it's also fathomable to me that you can get better and get really, really better, and that your kids will be safe and you'll be safe, and one day it will just be a memory that, yes, you might get a bit teary about when you talk about, but in your day-to-day you don't even think about it anymore.
And that is possible. Well done for doing that work and getting through that. Yeah, I mean, that's titanic. That's incredible.
It was huge. My husband was amazing.
Is he?
No, like amazing. Like, when I think of one of the things, and I've never shared this with anybody before, but when I think of the things he did to help me, so the therapist was like, you have this urge to drop him, like to drop him and something to happen. She was like, I want you to drop him, but I want your husband to be on his knees underneath you, ready to catch him. So you can process the feeling and see how it feels. So now this man, my therapist said, I've never met anybody in my life with no trauma. This man is as steady as it comes. No mental illness, fabulous childhood, not a bother on him. And then in comes me. And I'm like, I just need to pretend I'm dropping my baby from the balcony. Is that okay? And he goes, no bother, and gets on his knees and puts out his hands. Like, that's what I was dealing with. Amazing.
It's amazing.
Like,
amazing.
Or I'd be like, I'm afraid I'm going to get up in the middle of the night and kill the baby. Will you sleep across the door? No bother.
Wow.
Down goes the pillow, out like a fucking light now, fair play to him. But, do you know what I mean? But not, like, he was amazing.
That's
like,
a great man.
and we developed little systems that it was like, if I felt unsafe and he was at work, I would never just text him. No, sorry. I would text him if I just wanted reassurance. If I needed him, I would phone. He would walk out of any meeting, anything. I only had to do that twice, because once I knew that was the option,
once it was
I
there,
immediately
you felt
like, okay, I don't have to plead my case every time.
Yeah.
But he was, now my sisters, I had one particular friend who used to say, she was on mat leave as well. She would come and just walk around Blackrock with me, and I would tell her all the dark thoughts that I'd had the night before, and she'd go, and look at you, you're out on a walk and we're going for beans on toast. And we just do that a few times a week. But my husband was unreal. Like, he was amazing.
I'd love to meet him.
Saved my life. He's fab.
Sounds incredible.
He's fab. Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
As a mum, the reality is you spend a lot of time in the car, whether that's juggling work or the kids or something in between. The other Image mums and I recently test drove the new Peugeot 3008 and 5008, and we were genuinely so impressed. They have tons of space for everything from sports gear to buggies to car seats to everything else you can think of. And they're full of innovative tech and also just really nice to drive. The 3008 SUV is a perfect mix of style and practicality, and the 5008 has all the extra space you need, including 7 seats. So whether you've babies, toddlers or teens, Peugeot has thought of everything. When life is non-stop, you need a car that keeps up, and Peugeot just gets it. Talk to me about what creating gives you in all of this, and at what point you started like putting pen to paper and making things.
Like, Age 3.
Okay.
So I always used poetry and art as a way to process everything in the world. I've been like a open wound to the world since I've been a small child, and everything just felt big and sensitive and hard and emotional, and I couldn't understand how people were walking through life like this wasn't a massive deal, you know, every single thing. And I was like 5 writing poetry about World War II, and my mom was like, this is lovely. Jesus. Like, I'm not even joking, wild. Like, you know, pictures of dead grandparents, like, it was intense. So I've always done it as a way to process, but also I just absolutely love the ability to upskill with, like, I'm a homebody by nature mostly, and I've been anxious over the years and at times struggled to go outside and whatever. So to have something within your hands that is once a blank piece of paper and you can make it into something beautiful that makes somebody feel something is something that just like lights like a cam flame in me, I would say, just like a peaceful warm light I feel with it. And
gorgeous.
I always wanted to learn. I've always done kind of realistic drawings, so realistic sketches and portraits and those kind of things. And when I had my first baby, I really wanted to learn how to do illustration. I just loved the idea of being able to draw little pictures of us and our little adventures, whatever, and I had no clue how to do it. So that's when I started doing it every single day.
Wow.
And I've drawn every single day over the last 7 years, like without fail. Don't know how to have a day without doing it.
Wow.
And I've really, it's a wonderful thing to see yourself improve. Like when I look back at some of those earlier drawings and they're in a skill level appalling, but actually people connected to them just as much as the ones that are more polished now. So I have always done it. I don't know how to not do it, except for poetry. I would say poetry nearly always comes, like I've only twice, when requested to do so, sat down to write a poem. The other ones have always sort of hit me in the chest. Like they've sort of arrived like with a big feeling and it flows out on the phone and then I put it away. Where the illustrations and the paintings are definitely more considered and curated and planned and upscaled or whatever. Where the writing ones are, they just arrive.
And it's a practice. I mean, it's a daily practice.
Yes, it is, which apparently is the same for writing. But I definitely amn't as like compulsive with that as I am with art and drawing. That's a non-negotiable. Like I've already, classic overthinker, anxious brain. I'm like, right, if I lose my hands, I'll like I've been like, I don't mind, I'll use my nose. I've already gone there. Do you know? Fail to prepare, prepared to fail. I don't know.
Nose painting.
Oh, sure. Listen, you never know what you'll see from me next. I'm going to get those real views. But I just need to do it, even though I don't really have the outlet for the feedback on it on Instagram anymore, because you can't just put up a picture. It's just not seen. Like it literally doesn't get seen anymore. I'm still just like, I have a wealth of stuff that at some day I must film or do something with, but I'm still creating every day.
Have you ever done an exhibition?
So, yeah. The reason I did that face is I have been offered the opportunity to do it. I've been offered the opportunity to do loads of things. I've been offered to do a book. I've been offered to do my own podcast. I've been offered to do an exhibition. And I have just never felt able to take that leap. And I think when you are so in control of what you create, and artists will say this to you all the time, like nothing ever feels finished. So I always feel like if I just can work on it for like another year, you know, I could just get it that bit better. And the truth is, when you're an artist, your work from 5 years ago isn't as good as it is now. And please God, in 5 years, it'll be better again. So it always, everything feels like a work in progress. And so I've never felt ready to leap. And I did that face because people are often saying it to me. Like, are you not going to just do it, Emma? No, probably not.
Would you think about it more as marking a moment in time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an exhibition or a book, as marking a moment in time rather than this is the best I'll ever be and here it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
I'm going to make you do it after this.
Yeah.
We're going to talk.
Like I signed with a fabulous agent. She was so supportive. And I bottle it every time. Every time.
Do you want
every
to,
time.
though? On some level?
No.
Okay, well that's different
really.
then. If you don't really want to, then
I think it's like in the book piece, I have this idea for a book that I feel is needed. Like, I don't really want to write it though. Like, you know, I'm like, I just don't know if I have the attention span anymore. But I do feel like that might be something worth pushing through because I feel it would actually be of real value to people. Whereas an exhibition for me feels a little bit self-congratulatory or something.
Yeah.
And I don't feel, like I said, I've been nominated in the past for, you know, like the motherhood awards you see or whatever. And I've always taken myself out of it. It just doesn't feel like my space or like, and look, things change and the whole landscape of social media is changing. But I feel like I get a lot of feedback in what I do already.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of positive feedback and feedback of my work being meaningful and helpful and whatever, that I don't feel the need to say, I'm holding an exhibition. Like, okay, that kind of sounds cool, but it doesn't
you
really...
know who you are and you have what
really
you
feel
need.
like...
Yeah, you right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting we were talking about before we started recording is we have kids similar ages, like 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And when you start to feel yourself again a little bit, I think is at these ages.
Absolutely.
And I've definitely, I actually did, you'd be very proud of me, an art course. I started an art course 2 nights ago.
Oh my God.
I know, and I loved it.
Fabulous.
But I think that's because I just have that chink of extra time and headspace actually to be able to do things creatively more, to do things for me more, things that light me up more. Yeah. And I wonder, when you start to get into that phase, or if you are in it already, what will that look like for you? You know, and you've already been creating so much throughout the times when I think most women couldn't even consider turning on their creative brain. Yeah.
I don't know. I think, like, my passion, I could actually nearly cry again, because my passion is mothers. And I just want to make any mother I can feel better, feel seen, feel known.
Me too.
And I need to find the way back to that. I don't know what that is. Like, I feel like I want to make more time to speak, like to have these conversations, to whether it's create more content just around like speaking and talking about things and whatever. I feel like that is where I feel totally pulled now. I feel like I get why it's the obvious thing that I would do an exhibition or whatever. I get why that seems obvious, but like let's take a moment because I'm just going to bawl.
It's okay to pull. This is big stuff. And can I say, before you take a moment, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think that we need to have these conversations with women.
Yeah.
I want to help mothers. I feel like mothers are the people in our society who we have let down in such a huge way. And the things that we go through quietly in our utility rooms need to be brought out. And you were doing that work already. Yeah. You were doing that work already.
Yeah. I've always felt real, like it's such a common thing to say, like a gut feeling or whatever. I have always felt like at a time in my life there's a thread pulling me somewhere. Yeah. Like whether it was originally to start Instagram and then to start selling my prints and I get why people are like dangling threads here and there and they're like, what about this one? What about this one? And I get it. My whole pull now, it's like nearly coming up out of my throat, is like to find a way to just reach more mothers. Yeah. And I don't know how yet, but that's what I'm figuring out next. Is the more energy, the more time, the more resources I have to figure out a way, and I haven't figured it out yet, but it's to figure out a way to find my way to them. And that's the plan.
You will figure it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe I will, because
I know you will.
Yeah, thanks. You're like the midwife now. You can do this.
You can do it.
Yeah. Because the feeling in that is so strong over like I love having the crack on Instagram. I love doing like showing myself, like I put up a reel today when my rollers in, no makeup in my bra, and like even though that's like a joke, it's also considered, because it's like I'm going to show a picture later where I have a full face of makeup and a curly blow dry. We're all also just behind smoke and mirrors, lads.
Yes.
And, you know, like I feel like as I am lucky enough to get better and come out of the trenches, whatever, I'm conscious of not having to keep myself on a low vibration so that people can feel they relate to me when they're in the trenches. But also to say, I'm up here, but lads, it's also nonsense. And I nearly put my fist through a wall yesterday. And like, it's both, you know, now, like I was just holding lead blocks and now I'm juggling. And some are made of lead, some are made of glass, some are made of plastic. But at times there's a lot going on. I'm not always down here, but it's not all perfect either. And will never be, ever, ever. Ever. Yeah. It's never going to be perfect.
And anyone who says it is.
No, sure, we kept always saying, my husband and I, this thing of like, when things settle down.
I know.
And that, like, my eldest is 7.5 now. And only about 2 years ago, I said to him, I don't think things are going to settle down. I don't think they're going. And he was like, I think you're right. I think there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
And there is always something.
Yeah.
So finding ways to help you feel like yourself, to feel well, to feel plugged into the world, to remember that you are a person. Imagine needing a lesson in that. You're actually a whole person. You are. And my friend, I remember my husband and I were going through a really tough time just in our relationship, work, drama, blah, blah, whatever. And I was like, what if this didn't work out for me? Like, what if I'm going to be the person with young kids? And now, again, I've already talked about how to paint with my nose if I lose my arm. So I jump. Like, there was no need for that. Like, we were just having a bad week. But I do jump to the worst case scenarios. And she was like, Emma, I loved you before any of this. I loved you before you had a husband. I loved you before you had a house. I loved you before you had 3 kids. Like, you were a whole person before all this. And like that one sentence she said, that was about 1.5 years ago. And I have been on like this steady climb back to being a person since then, because she really reminded me that I existed whole before all of this. And I'm still whole. And that whole person deserves time, care, finances. Like, I would never take anything out of the family finances to get like my hair done or new clothes. It's like, no, I will claim a piece of that pot now because I am a whole person in this family as well.
It's hard to remember as a mother that you are a whole individual being
you're
on
a
your
person.
own. Yeah.
You're actually just a person. And the same goes for giving yourself a hard time about things.
Yeah.
You know, you're just a person. Like, it's not your job to have this perfect and do it right all the time. You're literally just a person. And like, one of the most liberating things I say to myself regularly is, you're not that special. Yes. And it sounds derogatory, but it's not.
I say that too.
No, you're really not that special. And same even about insecurities, like my nose and I'm like, you just have a human face. Yeah. Sorry about you.
And
it's just a human face, no one cares, and it's just human.
Cares.
That's the way, when it all formed the womb, yours formed like that, girl. Get on with your day.
Yes.
Do you know? And it's actually humbling yourself is very liberating. You think it's all about building yourself up and like, you are the best, you're a hot bitch. It's like, no. Human face, normal person, trying her best. That's liberating for me.
You are also a hot bitch.
Oh, well,
and the best.
Obviously, I'm a hot bitch.
May I say?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, girl. Yeah.
And talk to me about faith as well. That's something that is really powerful in your life now. And something that's difficult to talk about. I think we have to recognise that it's a really controversial, difficult thing for people to talk about and people to hear about as well.
Yeah.
But I just want to hear about it from you, because I know it's been something in your life.
It has. So I'm very honest in nature. Like, so I will put up when I'm like reading the Bible and learning and feeling connected. And I've also spoken about like, I don't know why it doesn't just stay. Like, it's like anything. I have to always work on it to stay anchored in it. Like, sometimes I am sure, as you are sitting in front of me, that Jesus is my Lord and Savior and I am a Christian and this is the way forward. And then other days I'm like, really though? Like, like that's the truth for me. Do you know what I know for sure for me is that I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in his good in the world. I believe in the followings of Christianity. Now you can get into this church, this church, this church. That's a very different thing. The actual teachings of Jesus and the word of God and God as a role in the world. I absolutely believe in the power of that. I have felt it. I know it to be true. But get me into the nitty gritty of, is this the right rule? Is that the right way? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. But I know it's not just us. I'm telling you now, we're not just little amoeba little jellyfish going around and it's all meaningless. That's not the case. Every single person is valuable. And when I work through faith and I learn about God and I pray or I meditate or whatever way I access that part of my faith, it is the most like liberating way to access love for other people. So obviously, look, I can't give you the answers on religion. Nobody can, even though some people might claim to. For me, I just think when you really actually read the Bible, which I'd read so many. Okay, hold on. Get your thoughts together. You hear so much about religion. You learn about religion. You learn about it in school. You see the extremists. You see people on journeys. You don't know if it's you, don't whatever. I picked up the Bible. I decided to read it and make my own opinion on it. I thought, I keep hearing different opinions, different teachings, and that is valuable. But how can I have opinion on this book that I have never, ever read? And what I'll tell you that has stunned me to my core is that nobody has had an original idea since then. like every wellness manifestation, all these kind of fabulous things that they work, it's all already there. Like none of us are original. Like it is all, like we're so easy, like quick to look back on people in 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago and think we are this sort of elite, evolved. No, everybody is trying their best to be a good person, to connect to something higher than them, to make sense of why the hell we are here.
And I think whether you're calling it God or the universe or being, or there's so many, or all the different things that different religions will call it, I think you'd be really naive and arrogant to assume that there isn't something. There's something, there's something else that,
and I think
moves us,
that we
connect to.
And I think being willing to explore that. I was really surprised when I shared that I was very honest. I said, I'm reading the Bible because I want to learn. I have no answers. Zero answers other than I believe in God. I know God has helped me. I feel God guides me, but I can't give you any more information than that. And I'm reading it to learn. I mean, I lost thousands of followers in the blink of an eye. Yeah. I used to really like you. I can't believe you're going this way. And I just thought, guys, you need to like let somebody explore. I said, I could get to the end of this and say, oh God, that is not for me. It's all nonsense. Yeah. Like you need. And my whole shtick has been about talking about things as they're happening. I'm not going to come to you at the end wrapped up in a bow telling you, I am a born again Christian. He is the way, he is the light. This is it for sure. I don't know that. I don't have that certainty. I really wish I did. I wish I had that consistent sense of knowing and certainty. It visits, it doesn't stay. Yeah. But it's something I'm still seeking. I still want it.
I think it's such an emotive topic for people, for
understandably in Ireland especially.
Yeah. So I can understand why people have strong feelings about it. But, every individual human is different and their experience of the world is different and the things that they believe in is different. And I think the most important thing is that is respected and given space, and I really admire you for it. I think it's admirable, really, really admirable to be doing a journey on your own, figuring things out on your own.
I definitely have pulled back from sharing it online though, which typically wouldn't be. Do you know what it was? It wouldn't be my vibe as much. Is because I thought I'm upsetting people, whether I think they should be upset or not. I'm upsetting people, and I haven't even landed on anything yet.
Yeah. So it's not worth it at this point.
I just thought. Is it like I wish we lived in a space where we could all talk openly about what we're thinking, what's your opinion on this, these rights, blah, blah, whatever. That's not a reality.
It's not social media right now, certainly.
Exactly. I talk about it a bit on my stories, but I've kind of pulled back on doing posts on it because the conflict I just didn't feel was really benefiting anybody.
Talk to me about your community generally though. They are a really beautiful community and a really supportive place for you and for each other. Yeah. Has that ever felt difficult at all? Has there ever been points where you don't want to share? No. No.
There's lots I don't share. When the kids were very small, I would have talked about their names and so started preschool and wouldn't have put pictures of their faces, but things like that. Now I don't. I feel like, there was a time when I was just like that. I was in the trench and every bit of my everyday was this little baby and on the boob and the mastitis and the whatever. And now I feel like I can choose what pieces I keep for myself and what I feel is of value to share. Where I used to just share And it was like a catch-all. Something might be valuable, something might be not. Now I try to be considerate. Some of it is just frivolous. It's maintaining connection. It's talking about the new mascara I got and the new Bridgestone knickers that have Marks and Spencers that don't cut into your arse. Whatever it is, do you know? But then when you have that comfortable, trusting relationship, people are more receptive to then you leaning in to kind of the harder, darker topics.
Yeah.
And when I say those girls, thousands and thousands and thousands, have been a lifeline for me in the hardest of years, because I've thought about giving it all up. Like, I don't earn money from my Instagram. I'm not doing ads left, right and centre. I'm not doing paid content. I'm not, like, I sell my own art prints and I can tell them about that. But even then, like, it's a couple of £100 a month. I'm not making money from this by any means, you know. But what it gives to me is far beyond that. It's fun. It's creative. Now that it's moved to sort of the more video media, I'm actually finding that a really creative process, so that's enjoyable. And just meeting women there time and time and time again, and feeling supported and feeling like you can give support. And then it always feels like they're there for you if I do ever feel ready to take that leap into something more professional or more considered. I feel like I've got a massive group of gals behind me who really have a good sense of who I actually am and are meeting me with such support and love and kindness all the time, without fail.
And even when I just trip onto your page, they meet me with love and support.
I
and
know.
kindness. They're lovely.
Like, welcome, come on in. They're fab. They're fab.
And you recently moved down to West Cork.
Yes, I did.
For really intentional, slower pace of life.
Yeah.
Which I think, certainly for me, and I think for a lot of people, sounds very appealing. I think a lot of people play with that idea in their heads.
Yeah.
What's it like in reality?
It's fab.
Yeah.
It lives up to it and more.
Should we all go to West Cork with you?
You should. It is fabulous. Like, I never thought, like, we always kind of toyed with the idea, but I was like, I could never actually do it. I could never leave my family. Like, we're so close, my family and I saw them every day. I was like, I could never do that. And then, you know, as I got better and better and better, I was like, oh my God, these years are going to go in the blink of an eye. If you want to do something, you have to do it. And one of the greatest things I like about myself is my willingness to change. And I was told years ago, you know, you don't have to be consistent, Emma. You know, you can be a vegetarian and you can actually decide tomorrow if you want to eat meat again. You know, you can be a raging feminist and then actually decide you want to be a stay-at-home wife. Like, you don't have to choose your lane and stick to it. So because I was the mom in the 4th Art jumper, in the semi-D, in the lovely new build, I don't actually have to do that anymore. I can just change that. And I did. And it's been amazing.
Was it a hard decision to make, or was it just once you made it?
Once I made it, that was it. Yeah, yeah. I think it's the making of the decision, the dancing, like, will we move to Malahide? Will we move to this? Will we do, what's the best plan? And then there was 2 events. I had, where we were kind of living, I just noticed a bit of a change in it, the atmosphere or whatever recently. And there was 2 events. I went to an art gallery and a man hit me because my baby was being a baby, laughing at the art exhibition.
Sorry, excuse me, he hit you?
Yeah, and I got it on camera, which was wild. But anyway, and then another thing that I got on camera, my dash cam, is I was driving home from the preschool and a guy tried to run a pedestrian down intentionally with his car. So he drove in front of me, tried to chase him down, tried to knock him down with his car, and then got out and chased him with a knife. And it's so embarrassing. So the video had to go to the guards. And I'm just like this. What's happening? Like, so embarrassing. Like, I wasn't like, what the hell? Like, no, I was just like, what's going on? Like, it's so embarrassing. But they say you keep getting these little signs. And I'd love to move. Oh, it would be great for the kids. And these 2 things happened in a week. And I literally went home and I said, we're moving to West Cork. We're leaving now. It's done. And he was like, fab, amazing. And we haven't looked back since. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place to raise children. Amazing.
Are the kids so happy?
So happy. Now, of course, hamming it up all the time. Like, it's not fair. We're never near McDonald's. Like, getting out their violins. But I also thought it would make me... One thing I've heard people say, which I think is important to remember, is you bring yourself with you.
Yes.
So I thought I was going to be Little Miss West Cork. I was like, I'll be gardening in the Birkenstocks. I didn't get my nails done for the first year because I was like, that's not me now. And only as I settled into it, I was like, no, I'm actually still love a crisp roll, love my penny jeans, want to get my nails done. Actually, I'm here as well. Do you know? Like, it didn't change me completely as a person. But we get loads of time in nature, the community, the safety. Like, it's that real. It's like living in the 90s. You know, we text the moms are the boys in your house? My house, I haven't seen them in a few hours.
Yeah.
Do you know, they're like, oh, I think they're in our attic, let me check. Oh, like, I'm like, oh my God, it's like 1990 and your kids are just out playing on their bikes, in and out of each other's houses, down by the sea, swimming in the sea numerous times a week. Like, it is fabulous.
Beautiful.
We are 2 hours from Penny's, so there's a cost to everything. Yeah.
There's wins and losses.
That's the way it goes. Yeah.
Emma, how are you now? Like in West Cork, how are you feeling? How's your mental health? How are you in you now?
I'm really good. Now, I am somebody, I always have to work at being well. I have never been, I had an ADHD diagnosis last year, and we're currently in the autism one now, because they're like, how did you skip the system? Like, everything about me since I've been a childhood is like queen of neurodiverse, right?
Okay.
So I always have to really mind myself. Like, I have to, if I've been speaking to people, I have to put on noise cancelling headphones, lie in a dark room, put a cover on my cry for an hour, and then get out and do something else again. So I always have to work at being well. That is just my baseline, and I accept that. But I am working at it, and I am achieving it, God, nearly 10 times out of 10 now, I have to say. I love the community I have online. My kids are fabulous ages, 3, 5 and 7. Like, they're that perfect mix of loving their mammy, being so cute and adorable, but sleeping at night and being able to answer you. And, you know, like, it's if I could pause time with them as they are now, I wouldn't a heartbeat. It's amazing. And just getting that little bit of time back to myself, and hold that thought, not getting it, taking it. That's the difference. Yes. And I always say, when people say, how did you get away for that girls' night? Because I didn't wait for somebody to offer it to me. Yes. And same when I need time away from the house, or I'm fit to kill because they've been wrecking my head all day, I don't ask for permission. I take the car keys and say, I'm going for an hour.
Yes.
I'll be back. And I go.
Take what you need.
Or people would say, oh, he never offers me time. You're not waiting for an offer, gal. You're here to take it. It'll never be offered. Yes. It's not. Whenever, like, has someone said, you look like you need a weekend away, gal. Never. It doesn't happen.
No.
Even the best, like, I have an amazing husband. He's not going to offer that up.
No.
But he'll comply when I say I'm taking it. Yeah. And I'm taking more and more for myself. Yes. I'm glad of it. Yeah.
That's a beautiful note for us to end on. Well, I don't want to. I want to take you home with me.
I told you, my arm is not hard to twist. Yeah. Sorry, I'm needed. Yeah.
Emma, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please do hit the follow button. It'll allow you to see each new episode as it comes online, or even better, go and tell a friend about us. That makes other women who might want to hear these conversations aware of our podcast. If you'd like to experience the Motherload IRL, do log on to image.ie, because we have so many really exciting events coming up this year, and I would love to see you. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to the incredible brands that make Image the Motherload possible. We are powered by Peugeot and sponsored by Revive Active, It's for Women, Evoca and Liffey Valley. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.